is our person of the day. And tomorrow, sexual abuse by clergymen. What if it wasn't just children? Tomorrow, the shocking claims by American nuns. And coming up next on Larry King Live, the creator of the Atkins diet, Dr. Robert Atkins. Thank you so much for joining us. And for all of us at CNN, good night and stay on CNN. Don't you go over to Fox. See you tomorrow.
Tonight, Dr. Robert Atkins, the world's most controversial diet guru, criticized for years. He may have been right after all. He's here for the hour. He'll take your calls. Dr. Robert Atkins next on Larry King Live. It's always good to see him. We've been interviewing him many, many times over the years, locally in Miami, nationally on radio, and now with us on television and radio via CNN. Dr. Robert Atkins is a cardiologist and founder of the Atkins Center for Complementary Medicine. His books have been #1 on the New York Times list often. His new book is Atkins for Life. There you see its cover, The Complete Controlled Carb Program for Permanent Weight Loss and Good Health. You can get him as well and reach him at the atkinscenter.com on his website, or get the book or whatever. He has become internationally famous, always very controversial. Now a lot of medical institutions are saying that maybe he was right. First, let's get an update on your own health. I know that you had a cardiac arrest a year ago. What happened and how are you?
Well, it didn't last very long, and then I continued to get better and better and played a lot of tennis, and I'm probably in better health than I've been in the past 10 years.
What was it that happened to you, though?
We don't know, but I know that I had an infection in my heart, and it caused an arrhythmia, and so it must have been an arrhythmia that sort of took off, and that was it.
Not related to your diet?
Definitely not. You don't catch an infection from my diet, but this was an infection.
How in the world does a cardiologist, in a world of we hate fat and high cholesterol, worry about all those things, suddenly turn the opposite route? How'd that happen?
Well, it was really very simple. I needed to go on a diet back in 1963. I was gaining a lot of weight. Yes, I was practicing cardiology, but I was gaining weight. And there was an article in the AMA journal that said, by the way, you don't have to go on a low-calorie diet. You can go on a low-carbohydrate diet. And I thought, oh, how wonderful that is. So I went on the diet. It was very, very exciting. I not only lost a lot of weight very easily, but I needed a lot less sleep. I used to need 8.5 hours sleep, and by the end of 2 months, I needed 5.5 hours sleep, which, by the way, for the last 40 years, that's about all I needed. So it really changed my energy level, and it changed a lot of things. And so I decided to put other people on it. And
the rest is history. Explain for me something.
I'd
we need
that.
Carbohydrates, do we not? We must have carbohydrates in our system.
A lot of people don't need carbohydrates.
They don't need any?
Well, certainly the people way up in northern Alaska where they don't grow carbohydrates manage to survive. So obviously you can survive without carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are valuable because of many of the things that they contain. So our diet really is not a zero carbohydrate diet.
You take carbohydrates?
I eat a lot of vegetables. And those are the most valuable carbohydrates. But from the very beginning, we have to focus on what are the healthy carbohydrates and stay away from the unhealthy ones.
All right, let's get the most important. What are some things you will not consume? What are unhealthy carbohydrates?
Well, basically, it's about refined carbohydrates. That's sugar and flour. Those are the refined carbohydrates.
That means you do not eat bread.
We now eat bread because we make bread without refined carbohydrates.
I mean, you make your own bread?
In other words, a lot of companies make low-carbohydrate bread now. Certainly we're one of them.
So that's what you would recommend, low-carbohydrate bread?
Yes, at various times. Now, we start off, when people start the diet, we start off very strict. And a lot of people have felt, oh, that strict first 2 weeks of the diet, that's the whole diet. They don't realize that the diet is a 70-year diet. And who cares about 2 weeks when you're on it for 70 years?
You do allow steaks and chops and
all
sausage
of the main
and
courses,
bacon and
seafood, chicken.
Sauces?
Depends on the sauce, depends on what's in it. And certainly cheese and eggs and meat as well, because all of those foods are without carbohydrates, basically.
So enriched flour, if you cut out enriched flour,
which we do.
If everybody watching this show stopped all enriched flour,
right,
and all sweets, all like we're talking about candies, right?
Right.
Rich flour, chocolates, candies, stopped it, they would lose weight, no matter what they ate.
No, it doesn't. No, they have to. Some people wouldn't, but everybody would be healthier. Everyone would be healthier if they didn't eat junk food, because that's what junk food is. There were times, if we go back 100 years, we found out that the people in our country ate the same amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrate that they eat now, that they ate 30 years ago, but there wasn't a single heart attack. The first heart attack didn't come until 1912. The difference was, 100 years ago, we did not eat much in the way of refined carbohydrates. We didn't eat much sugar or much flour. That's what changed. That's what caused the whole epidemic. That's what caused the whole 20th century group of illnesses.
So when you eat a cheeseburger, you don't eat the roll?
That's for sure. I don't even let them give me a roll.
But you would eat the cheeseburger?
Yeah, with a fork.
Okay. But how about the concept that every cardiologist I've ever talked to, and I've had heart disease, so I know, I had a heart attack and heart surgery, says fats are bad because fat, obviously when you think of a fat, it builds plaque. Plaque is what constricts the system. Bang, you're in trouble.
Well, that's what they say, but on the other hand, there's a lot of evidence that shows that all of that thing about fat was done on studies where there was a lot of carbohydrate. Now, when there's a lot of carbohydrate, your fat takes a different metabolic pathway than when there's very little carbohydrate. When there's a lot of carbohydrate, fat turns into triglyceride, which is bad for your heart. And that's a bad thing. But when you don't eat carbohydrate, then it turns into energy.
So in other words, you have the steak, but you don't have the bread. That's a whole different concept occurring in your system.
And you don't have the potatoes either, for that matter.
Here's about getting respect. Listen to this. The New York Times Magazine article in July 2002. By the way, you made the cover of Time Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't leave Atkins out.
I know that now.
Here's what the New York Times, July 2002. If the members of the American medical establishment were to have a collective finding yourself standing naked in Times Square type nightmare, this might be it. They spent 30 years ridiculing Robert Atkins, accusing the Manhattan doctor of quackery and fraud, only to discover that the unrepentant Atkins was right all along. Now, the article didn't say it was right, but it suggests you were right, but suggested the possibility that you were right. Do you have a feeling of, I told you so?
Sure. I've had that feeling all along.
But now you've got...
Finally, somebody has now recognized that there were so many studies which confirmed what I've said, and no studies which ever let them come to the conclusion that the opposition has come to.
The argument against you, wasn't it, Bob, that you were doing all these things without any clinically approved studies until later on? In other words, you would make these statements.
I would never do a study because I'm a practicing physician. I mean, all I do is treat people.
But you funded a study at Duke.
Yes, but it was a long time before I was able to do that. And so for many, many years, I had to rely on everybody else's studies. It was everybody else's studies that got me to go on my diet in the first place.
But didn't everybody else's studies say, don't eat fat?
No, they didn't do that when they looked at low carbohydrate intake. All of the studies that said don't eat fat were done with diets where there was a lot of fat and a lot of carbohydrate.
We're going to be taking a lot of calls for Robert Atkins tonight. His new book is Atkins for Life, the complete controlled carb program for permanent weight loss and good health. You can get to him at theatkinscenter.com as well on the website. We'll be talking with him and taking a lot of phone calls for Dr. Atkins. We'll be right back.
Larry King Live is brought to you by Avaya, a higher plane of communication.
Avaya. What is it? First, what it's not. A Caribbean island? Welcome to Avaya. Yeah! Avaya! Everybody say Avaya! Avaya! Avaya is a state of pure communications perfection. Here you find IP telephony for about the price of a standard PBX upgrade. And the biggest, most experienced communication services team, hands down. Oh, still not sure what Avaya is? Ask over 90% of Fortune 500 companies. Go on, they know. Reach Avaya, a higher plane of communication.
Sunday.
Now it's time that I did what I want, on my own terms.
If you only know him from the press.
What is it about your family that makes them take such stupid risks?
You only know half his story.
I am not just a Kennedy.
You're your father's son.
Based on the New York Times bestseller, America's Prince, the John F. Kennedy Jr. story. Sunday at 8 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on TBS Superstation.
As the world faces the possibility of war, CNN is there.
Christiana Manpour, CNN, reporting from Kuwait.
In Ramallah on the West Bank.
Damascus.
With the largest team of journalists on the front lines.
700 sites need to be inspected.
From right here in the U.S.
At the State Department.
For CNN, the Pentagon, the White House.
To the streets of the Middle East.
CNN, Riyadh.
Beirut, Cairo, Jerusalem.
As the showdown with Iraq continues, stay with CNN.
Your eyes are full of hate, Ben-Hur. That's good. Hate keeps a man alive.
When every movie is a classic, it's bound to have an effect. Turner Classic Movies.
CNN Tonight, the day's top stories, plus an entire family murdered. One parent accused of the crime. Now go inside the manhunt and incredible capture of the alleged killer with Connie Chung. CNN Tonight, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
This is CNN.
We're back. We'll be going to call shortly for Dr. Robert Atkins. You funded, the foundation you had funded research done at Duke, 120 overweight volunteers randomly assigned to follow the Atkins diet or the American Heart Association diet.
Right.
The data on the 63 participants reported the Atkins participants on an average lost more weight, lowered bad cholesterol, and increased good cholesterol. However, Dr. Dean Ornish, a critic of yours, notes that this was only a 6-month study, that the Heart Association diet was not very low in fat or simple carbs, and only Atkins patients were given fish oil and flaxseed oil, which automatically lowers triglycerides. How do you react to that?
Well, of course, none of that is really the case. In point of fact, our diet took off 31 pounds against 20 pounds that the comparison diet did. The triglycerides dropped 49% on our diet and only 22% on the others. And the good cholesterol went up 12% on ours and didn't go up at all on the American Heart Association.
Do you use fish oil? Is that part of your program?
Fish oil was used, but it was used in a very small quantity. Now, what's more important is that the triglycerides have been lowered on this diet going all the way back to 1966. And in every study, it's been dropped something like 50% or pretty close to it when it's low. And fish oil was not used. It's quite true that fish oil is, in my view, the #1 therapy for lowering triglycerides. But even without it, you get the result from the diet. So that is just not true. And as far as how many people were done, well, 6 months is pretty long. But I can tell you this: I've treated tens of thousands of patients for a lot more than 6 months. A lot of them have come back 10 and 20 years later, and I can tell you this, that their lab work gets better and better the longer they stay on it.
Now, we hear that critics, I'm told, will admit that you have short-term weight loss, great results with short-term weight loss, but they worry about the long-term health impact.
They do indeed, but there's no reason to. Why would anybody worry about it when 6 months is a long time? And in mainstream medicine, when people are on a diet, after about 6 months, things don't look look so well, but on our diet they continue to look well as long as you stay on it.
The American Journal of Kidney Diseases, August of 2002, said people on your diet lose large amounts of calcium in the urine, 65% higher than normal, 55% in maintenance, possibly could lead to osteoporosis.
Well, the calcium loss is very short term. After about 2 weeks, the calcium level is back to normal. So that's just a short-term abnormality.
Is part of your diet a lot of vitamins?
Well, that's what I like it to be. In the book, it doesn't really demand a lot of vitamins. The people who read the book may just take 1 or 2 types of vitamins a day. If they went to my practice in New York, I would give, and it doesn't have to be my diet, it could be anybody. I just know that vitamin therapy is a great alternative to drug therapy.
And medicine fought that a long time, didn't they?
Oh, they're still fighting that, but we're not talking about that because as far as the diet is concerned, see, everybody benefits from vitamins. It doesn't make any difference what diet they're on. You could take the healthiest diet in the world. If you gave those people vitamins, they'd be twice as healthy. So vitamins are valuable. Nonetheless, the diet doesn't require vitamins any more than any other diet.
Are a lot of the substitutes very good? There are chocolates, you tasted some before the show, that are very low in carbs.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Oh yes, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
So but what this really means is there's a whole new generation now. Before, when people went on my diet, and they have to stay on it for life, at least the low-carb lifestyle, so that at least they stay low enough in carb that they don't gain it back. But they had to not have any candy, they couldn't have any bread, they couldn't have any ice cream and things like that. But now there are many, many companies that are putting out low-carb versions of high-carb foods. And because of it, it is so easy now to stay on a low-carb lifestyle, which is exactly what millions of people are doing.
Are some under risk switching to low carb?
Oh, very few people. I would say it shouldn't happen to a pregnant woman or a woman who's feeding her infants. It shouldn't happen to a person who already has kidney disease. But a few statements like that which we make. But basically, other than that, very, very few people get in trouble from carbohydrate restriction.
Let's do something. We'll be taking calls in the next segment. A lot of calls tonight. Give me an Atkins day. What you eat? Okay. Atkins in the morning. Typical.
Well, I like to have omelets. Maybe it would either be an omelet or just scrambled eggs.
Cheese omelet?
Wonderful. I'll have that a lot of times with sausage or bacon or ham or something of that nature. And no side dishes.
Cardiologists just went over. Okay, go ahead.
But they shouldn't.
Okay, I know.
Because the evidence doesn't allow them to come to that conclusion. All of the studies show a low-carb diet helps the cholesterol, is dramatically beneficial for the triglycerides, and helps the HDL compared to the LDL, the good compared to the bad cholesterol.
Lunch.
Oh, well, lunch I may just, depends on where I'm having it. If I'm in the office, I'm just going to grab some nuts because I haven't got time for it.
Nuts are okay?
Or I may just have a bacon cheeseburger without the bun.
You eat nuts? You eat like macadamia nuts?
Absolutely.
Aren't they high in fat?
They're very low in carbohydrate, and they're perfect. And you have to understand that in the lifestyle, and I'm on my lifestyle, I don't have to lose any more weight. I just want to keep from gaining it, which is tough enough. But it does allow me to eat an awful lot of vegetables, a lot of nuts and seeds. I can eat 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrate a day. And in the book, like my new book, we talk about that. I just don't happen to like tofu, but I can have it.
What's an Atkins dinner?
Well, now you're talking about my wife, who is such a great cook.
So
she has incredible fish, incredible fowl, and all kinds of meat. Rack of lamb.
Rack of lamb.
You eat lamb chops.
You eat the fatty part of the lamb chop too?
Yeah, I eat that, and then just with a lot of vegetables.
Any potatoes?
No, not the potatoes, but an awful lot of.
How about sweet potato?
Rarely. I may take a bite of that, but basically I just have a lot of vegetables, mostly the green ones, and I eat about as many vegetables as the average vegetarian, I would think.
Dr. Atkins, the book is Atkins for Life, the complete controlled carb program for permanent weight loss and good health. You can get him at the website, too, atkinscenter.com, and you can talk to him right after these words.
This is to confirm an Etruscan chamber mud treatment.
3 o'clock is fine for her portrait sitting. She will take her breakfast on the veranda.
Cadota figs.
Brioche. Scottish kippers and a steamed potato. Do not remove Master Davy's comic books from nightstand.
Box lunch for the Evening Shore excursion.
Please reserve an in-cabin babysitter for the Patterson suite.
For 1 week, for 2 weeks, for 3 if you choose. You can be treated famously aboard one of our cruises. Log on for information.
If there is anything you need.
Anything at all.
TNT, turn around. A world premiere special event.
You couldn't get work, Monty.
His trusted friend will become his deadly enemy.
If I was starving, I wouldn't wrestle. That's it.
From the director of Lonesome Dove.
Since when you've been doing Law's work, Monty?
Tom Selleck is Monty Walsh, the last cowboy. One epic western. 3 chances to watch. See it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday at 8, beginning January 17th on TNT. We know drama.
Tomorrow on American Morning, a soap opera plot. I'm Paula Zahn. Former All My Children star Michael Nader lost his job because of drugs. Now he says he's recovered, and he's suing the network to get his job back. CNN tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Tomorrow, join CNN Live as President Bush unveils his economic plan, plus reaction from the stock exchange in Capitol Hill. Lou Dobbs hosts tomorrow.
In 8 months, I lost 70 pounds with exercise and Seattle Sutton's healthy eating, and I've managed to keep it off for 8 years. I have been a critical care nurse for 18 years, and I believe in Seattle Sutton's healthy eating because it is nutritionally complete. All the food is freshly prepared and very tasty. It's like having your own personal chef. My excitement with this is seeing people improve their health with their food as opposed to just pills and surgery.
For more information and your nearest location, call toll-free 800-442-DIET.
How would you like your beach? Sheraton Hotels and Resorts in Waikiki. Right now for as low as $135 a night.
CNN.
We're back with Dr. Atkins. We'll start taking your phone calls. I'll intersperse some questions as we go along. We start with Farmington, Connecticut. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Atkins. I've been following your plan for 2 years. Mm-hmm. I'm actually in the maintenance part of the plan. I take in only between 25 to 35 to 30 grams of carbs a day. That's all my body can handle.
Okay.
And I've gained a little weight. I stay within the 5 pounds, like you've said, but I've gone up. I'm hitting that 10-pound marker. I've gone back to induction, and I'm finding that it's not working for me. What can you suggest?
Well, we really have to find out why. Are you on any medications or any hormones or anything like that?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. All right, then the next thing, you see, the main reason that people get stuck is because of medications. This is the thing that really gets them in trouble. The second most important thing is the possibility of a thyroid not being functioning as well as it should. Now, even if your thyroid blood tests come out normal, there's still one other thing that you have to look at. That would be your temperature. Thyroid regulates your temperature. And if your temperature is considerably below 98.6 when you average it for the whole day, you take it before breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bedtime, and if it comes out about 97.8 or lower, there's a good possibility that you should be taking thyroid, and which would require a prescription, require you seeing a doctor and having them agree with it.
Why are so many people overweight?
Oh, that's so easy to explain. Back in 1970, we didn't have a lot of obesity, but then it started to increase. Now, this is what happened. In 1970, 40% of our diet was fat, and by 2000, it became 32% of our diet. But in those 30 years, according to the U.S. government, there was an increase in the intake of sugar per person by 30 pounds per year.
That includes bread, right?
No, sugar.
But
bread comes next. Bread and other starches of grains went up 64 pounds per person.
So we ate more
year.
wrong food.
Of course, and because everybody heard low fat, low fat, low fat, they had to eat more carbohydrates. That's what caused the epidemic.
Boston, hello.
Hi, Dr. Atkins?
Yes.
Hi. About a year ago, exactly a year ago, I started cutting out sugar and white flour and lost over 100 pounds, went down 10 sizes. And I've noticed, and I've noticed that a lot of, like, Suzanne Summers is following y'all, and she attributes to you being the guru. How do you feel about
today, yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel about other diets and other diet books that are now attributing you to being the guru?
Well, I think that's good. I think my book, the next one that's coming out, Atkins for Life, is going to be very similar to what Suzanne Summers has done, because we're talking about the maintenance of a lifestyle, keeping the weight off now that you've lost it.
That's harder than losing sometimes, isn't it?
It has been, but it shouldn't be, because the diet is actually easier. A maintenance diet is easier to follow than a weight loss diet, but for some reason people just go off their diet, and they've got to learn that.
Moline, Illinois, for Dr. Robert Atkins. Hello.
Dr. Atkins, I'm a type 2 diabetic. Can I safely be on this diet with sugar going off?
It's the optimal diet for a diabetic. The main thing that I want to accomplish in life is putting an end to the epidemic of diabetes and obesity, which I call diabesity, and that's really my number one function in life in this next few years of mine.
What percentage of your patients are either heart patients or diabetic patients or both?
Oh, I would say between the diabetes and the heart patients, about 60% now. Oh, absolutely.
To Milton, Wisconsin. Hello.
Hi, I've been on the Atkins way of life for 4.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down over 30 pounds, but my blood pressure is up, and I was wondering why this might be happening.
Well, that's very unusual, because it has been shown by study after study and by our own experience as well that restricting carbohydrates will drop the blood pressure. So it's very unusual. Now, so you have to find out what other than the diet could be responsible for that.
The chief form of carbohydrates that you take come in what?
Mostly vegetables and nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds and vegetables.
Cashew nuts?
That's the one I shouldn't have. That's the highest one in
What's
carbohydrate.
A good nut? Macadamia?
Oh, that's the best. And I eat a lot of macadamia nut butter.
Why is it the best?
Well, I guess because it's the lowest in carbohydrate, and also because it tastes the best, and because macadamia nut butter is so good, and I mix it with heavy cream, and that becomes my dessert. That's what I...
Macadamia nut butter with heavy cream.
And I stir it together. It takes about 20 seconds, and then that's my dessert. Fabulous.
Dayton, Ohio. Hello.
Hi, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I was wondering how safe it would be for her to be on the diet.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, children who are overweight should start on the low carbohydrate lifestyle as soon as they become overweight, so they don't get into these bad habits. But at the age of 13, it's absolutely mandatory. How overweight is she?
Oh, about 15 to 20 pounds.
Well, that's an easy thing. That means you should be able to get her back to her ideal weight within 5 or 6 weeks.
Really?
Right.
We'll be right back with more of Dr. Robert Atkins. His new book is Atkins for Life, the complete control carb program for permanent weight loss and good health. Example of someone losing weight. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is here tomorrow night. Don't go away.
About financial relationships. You have to reach out to make them work. They're most valuable when faced with the unexpected. Wisdom is everywhere. Uncommon wisdom is knowing how to apply it. Wachovia Securities. Talk to us.
Introducing all new America Online 8.0. We listened to you and designed AOL 8.0 with hundreds of exciting new features.
Welcome.
New AOL email sort gets you to important mail faster. New AOL Call Alert lets you be online and never miss important phone calls. Choose a welcome screen tailored to your interests. There are hundreds of new features to easily connect you to the people and things you care about most. New America Online 8.0. Call 1-800-4ONLINE or get a free startup disc at these locations.
As the world faces the possibility of war, CNN is there.
Christiana Montour, CNN, reporting from Kuwait.
In Ramallah on the West Bank. Damascus.
With the largest team of journalists on the front lines.
700 sites need to be inspected.
From right here in the U.S.
At the State Department.
For CNN, the Pentagon, the White House.
To the streets of the Middle East.
CNN, Riyadh.
Beirut, Cairo, Jerusalem.
As the showdown with Iraq continues, stay with CNN. CNN Tonight, the day's top stories, plus an entire family murdered. One parent accused of a crime. Now go inside the manhunt and incredible capture of the alleged killer with Connie Chung. CNN Tonight, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
You could be a meteorologist all your life. Never see something like this.
One weekend.
Drive right through it.
3 nights of drama.
Andrea Gale, do you read me? These storms have collided!
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. George Clooney. Mark Wahlberg. For the first time on network television, The Perfect Storm. 3 nights in a row. Starting Friday night at 8. Only on TNT. We know drama.
Tomorrow on American Morning, a soap opera plot. I'm Paula Zahn. Former All My Children star Michael Nader lost his job because of drugs. Now he says he's recovered, and he's suing the network to get his job back. CNN tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Dr. Atkins said if you're going to drink, moderation, and if you had to pick one drink, it would be red wine, right?
Red wine's a very good choice.
Chicago, hello.
Hi there, Dr. Atkins.
Yes.
I'd like to understand whether or not alcohol has a large impact on your diet.
You just asked about alcohol. Does it have a large impact?
It has a medium-sized impact. A lot of alcohol has a large impact, but a little bit is usable. We don't like to start people off with alcohol. We want to get the thing started, but then for the ongoing weight loss phase or the pre-maintenance or maintenance phase, which is the rest of your life, we certainly would allow a moderate amount of alcohol. Not the sweet ones, but the unsweet ones.
Unsweet is like what, vodka?
Yeah, scotch, vodka.
Do alcoholics tend to gain weight?
Some do and some don't.
Hartford, Connecticut, hello.
Hi, Dr. Atkins.
Yes.
I have a question about ketosis.
Okay.
I've been on induction for 3 weeks, and I've only been able to reach 15 milligrams on a ketone stick, and I wanted to know how can I accelerate the process of ketosis.
What is ketosis?
Ketosis means that you put in a stick and check your urine and see if it has ketones in it.
And you want them in it?
I really do, but it isn't really necessary. You can have ketones come out and not appear in your urine, and you would say, gee, I don't have ketones. But in point of fact, are you losing weight?
Lost 7 pounds in 3 weeks.
Well, it's still working, so you don't have to worry. If you can continue to lose, how many pounds do you have to lose altogether?
100.
Oh, 100. Oh. Are you taking any medications?
Just Synthroid for my thyroid.
All right. The probability is that Synthroid is not the best choice of thyroid. The probability is that you need a balanced thyroid where you're getting T3 as well as T4, or a natural form of thyroid, and it's also highly probable that you're not taking the right amount.
Can you reverse heart disease?
Well, we reverse heart disease all the time. That's what we do.
That I'm told is impossible. I mean, you can control it, but you can't reverse it. You can't make someone who...
Well, a lot of people have been told that they need bypass. Come to us, and we do a lot of things beyond the diet. I must say we use an awful lot of powerful nutrients.
Oh, you do?
And there are actually some nutrients that are better than drugs because they don't have any bad side effects.
You can avoid bypass surgery?
Well, we've done that hundreds and hundreds of times. People have come to us and they didn't...
take the blockage away?
Well, we took away the symptom complex, and the cardiologists who were told them they needed a bypass reevaluated them, said, well, I guess you don't because everything's okay now.
Sedona, Arizona, hello.
Hi, Dr. Atkins.
Yes.
I was wondering if you're familiar with the Eat Right for Your Type diet of Dr. Peter D'Adamo, which is based on blood types.
Well, I know a little bit about it. I know about the role of blood types.
Well, I'd be curious what you think about that, because he says that the type O diet is very similar to yours,
right.
But for like types A and B, he says they can't digest animal proteins and they should stay away from those and maybe have more carbs. I just wonder what you think about blood type and diet.
That can't be, really, because such a high percentage of people, we're talking about 99% of people, can go on our diet and succeed with it. And this means that just about every blood type is included in the group that succeeds on it.
Warren, Michigan, hello.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi. I wanted to know, I know that you can eat eggs and protein on your diet. Why not any milk?
Well, milk has got lactose in it. Whenever you hear a word with ose, that's a sugar. So there's sugar in milk. And that's
skim milk too?
More so. Skim milk has even more because it doesn't even have cream in it. So cream is about the one thing that the cow puts out that doesn't have carbohydrate.
See, if you would have, you don't have cereal, do you?
Well, there are some low carbohydrate cereals now,
and I will put sweet cream on it.
And I mix it with heavy cream. Yes, I do, sir.
It sounds
delicious.
Fattening. Oh, it's delicious. Hey, what's better than sweet cream, man?
Okay.
But you see, if it's that good, it can't be good for you, right?
That's pretty good for me.
Okay, I'll buy it.
Helps my tennis.
Branchville, New Jersey. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Atkins. I was wondering if you miss eating fresh fruit.
Aha.
Aha. Well, I don't, because I eat an awful lot of berries. Berries are on my diet.
Blueberries are good food, right?
Blueberries are excellent, but then I eat all the berries. Just this morning I had 4 different kinds of berries. And then melon is good, and then I'll have a bite of different fruit. Fruit is definitely on the maintenance diet. It's on the lifestyle diet.
Williamsburg, Virginia. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Atkins.
Hi.
I'm a Weight Watcher representative, and I wondered what you thought about, do you not believe that denying people normal carbohydrates on a daily basis will eventually make them feel deprived, causing them excess frustration, and even causing them to go off their diets completely because they haven't had those normal carbohydrates such as pastas and rice and potatoes and things that people really enjoy?
I think
what
it's
about
just the opposite.
eating in moderation?
I think when one looks at the long-term effect of people who've been on Weight Watchers, such a high percentage of those people gain back the weight. The reason being, no one wants to be hungry for a lifetime. Whereas with our diet, you're never hungry because you're not allowed to be hungry. You're just not allowed to keep your quantities that small. And so it's a better deal for almost everybody. They would rather eat enough food that they're not hungry and that is delicious. And all of these foods that you talked about, there are low carbohydrate versions of 90% of them, so that people are able to enjoy all of those foods. It's a rare person who doesn't like to stay on Atkins. They really do.
Ada, Ohio, hello.
Hi, Dr. Atkins.
Hi, Ada.
I'm a letter carrier, and I walk 12 to 15 miles a day, and I was on your diet. I lost 2 to 3 pounds a day the first 2 weeks. It scared me to death, so I stopped.
Well, you had to have lost water then.
Was that all it was water?
No, not all it was is water, but I mean there was some water along with a lot of fat that you lost.
Okay, because I've been carrying mail for 4 years. That's why I was wondering.
Well, but it shows how effective the diet is. How many pounds did you have to lose altogether?
I wanted to lose 50 pounds maybe.
Well, all right, so you got a good start, but eventually you'll switch on to ongoing weight loss anyway, and you get to the point where you only lose 1 pound a week.
But the diet is in stages, right, as you explained it?
The diet is in 4 stages. And the induction works very fast, but you don't stay on it very long, just to get the thing started.
And then
then ongoing weight loss is really where you find out what your critical carbohydrate level for losing is. And it's a different level for different people.
How important is exercise?
exercise is important to everybody, whether they diet or not. I mean, exercise. I don't think there's ever a person that says exercise is not good for people. Everybody agrees with that.
I mean, but is it essential?
Well, if you can't exercise, you'll still lose weight, but it's extremely valuable to be healthy.
We'll be back with Dr. Robert Atkins and more on his new book, Atkins for Life, with a lot more of your phone calls. Don't go away.
When this Valentine's Day arrives, you might get roses, balloons, champagne, and lots of kisses. And all of America might be watching on live TV as the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol surprises you with $10 million. Oh, my Lord. Watch your mail or go to PCH.com.
It's unbelievable.
Enter, and on Valentine's Day, you might win.
As the world faces the possibility of war, CNN is there.
Christiana Manpour, CNN, reporting from Kuwait.
In Ramallah on the West Bank. Damascus.
With the largest team of journalists on the front lines.
700 sites need to be inspected.
From right here in the U.S.
At the State Department.
For CNN, the Pentagon, the White House.
To the streets of the Middle East.
CNN, Riyadh.
Beirut, Cairo, Jerusalem.
As the showdown with Iraq continues, stay with CNN. CNN Tonight, the day's top stories, plus an entire family murdered. One parent accused of the crime. Now go inside the manhunt and incredible capture of the alleged killer with Connie Chung. CNN Tonight, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
Your eyes are full of hate, Ben-Hur. That's good. Hate keeps a man alive.
When every movie is a classic, it's bound to have an effect. Turner Classic Movies.
Tomorrow in American Morning, a soap opera plot. I'm Paula Zahn. Former All My Children star Michael Nader lost his job because of drugs. Now he says he's recovered, and he's suing the network to get his job back. CNN tomorrow at 7 a.m.
CNN Newsnight tonight. Follow the whip. CNN correspondents bring you a quick look at the day's top stories. Now the headlines.
Amsterdam cruise ship
turning towards Baghdad. Those who helped and planned.
Whip around the world.
Jerusalem and Washington.
Capitol Hill.
And right to the headlines. When the clock hits 10, you're there. Inside the Whip. On Newsnight with Aaron Brown. CNN tonight, 10 Eastern.
We're back with Dr. Robert Atkins. I'm Larry King. The caller is from Saline, Michigan. Hello.
Hi, Larry. How does Dr. Atkins explain the fact that the best marathoners in the world that have maybe 5% body fat eat diets that are 65 to 70% complex carbohydrates?
Well, that's perfectly fine because these people, there's no reason you shouldn't do that if you're that active. I mean, that's an incredibly active way to go through life. That would be one group of people who wouldn't need to be on my diet. Although studies have been done showing that people who, let's say, were cyclists, that they went on my diet to see how their speed would work. And for about 2 weeks they ran behind, and then at the end of 2 weeks they were just as good as ever. So that we know that and that's just the introduction to the diet. So that once you've been on the diet more than 2 weeks, you're able to handle things.
Ashland, Kentucky for Dr. Atkins. Hello.
Hi, Larry, and hi, Dr. Atkins.
Hi.
Is it possible to lose too much weight on your diet?
I guess it's possible, but I wouldn't think very many people would do that.
Well, you can do the reverse of bulimia, right? I mean, could you become, not the reverse, could you become bulimic? Could you suddenly start to say, I love this. I'm going to waste away to nothing. I'm going to be buried in a box the pills came in.
Well, I've treated about 40,000 people who were overweight, and I never had that happen yet. So it has to be a pretty rare event.
Okay. Aurora, Illinois. Hello.
Hello, hi. I have just had a baby 2.5 months ago and wondered why it wasn't safe for me to do the Atkins diet.
Well, it is safe for you to do the maintenance level of the diet. But you don't want to give the ketones to an infant if you're feeding them breast milk.
And she'd be getting the ketones from what?
From being on a strict version of the diet. But you wouldn't be getting them if you're just on a low carbohydrate maintenance level.
Rushville, Ohio, hello.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Dr. Atkins.
Hi.
I am 35 years old and had my kidney removed shortly after birth.
Okay.
I had gone to my doctor to get permission to go on the Atkins diet and test my kidney function, and it was fine. After 2 weeks of the induction diet, I went into a kidney infection. Is there a modified version of the induction diet that I could do and still be safe for my kidneys, for my kidney?
Well, I would say so. The kidney infection had nothing to do with the diet, and there's no question that people with one kidney can follow the diet if that kidney is normal. There's no question. It's been done thousands of times.
What's the toughest part of starting?
Well, the toughest part of starting for some people is getting rid of your addictions. In other words, some people are addicted to sweets and they have to go through withdrawal symptoms. Some people are addicted to alcohol. They have to go through withdrawal symptoms for that. And a few other things.
But you have some substitutes you could use.
Well, when I really have a person like that, I tell them to just gradually decrease it, and then that by the 7th day they could be on the induction level because they would have gotten down slowly to zero.
What about sweeteners? The NutraSweet and...
Well, I like sucralose, which is in Splenda. I consider that to be the best.
Package, right?
The aspartame is the one that I think can cause some problems, and the others are healthy if you like them.
Colas. Diet Coke.
Well, if a Diet Coke has aspartame, it's not as good as if it has sucralose, and there are Diet Colas that do have sucralose.
So you would look for sucralose.
Right.
Peoria, Illinois, hello.
Hello. In your book, you say that you should not eat bacon or sausage with sodium nitrate. How important is it to stay away from sodium nitrate?
That's a minor point, because that's just to talk about the fact that nitrites are a little bit dangerous.
What are nitrates?
That's one of the ingredients there. If you eat a lot of them, you can run into some medical problems.
Did you say don't eat sausage and bacon, or do eat sausage?
Well, I do allow a moderate amount, because I don't think it has enough. And when you can get the organic type that don't have the nitrites in it, then you can have all you want.
Where do you get organic?
In the health food stores.
You get organic bacon?
Well, you get the kind of free-range bacon that doesn't have the nitrites in it. Yeah.
Okay. Macon, Georgia. Hello. Hello? Macon, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead. Speak up.
Dr. Atkins.
Yes.
Before I started your diet, I used to have to take heartburn and acid reflux medication every night. But once I started your diet, I no longer had to take that. Does your diet have anything to do with me not having the heartburn and acid reflux any longer?
That's very, very common. Of course it has to do with that.
Why?
There's no question. If you went off the diet, you'd get your heartburn again.
Because?
We don't know why, but we assume that there's something in carbohydrate that would aggravate the stomach function. Because that's the one thing that's restricted.
Why? It's very hard, though, to get people to think that high fat is good. Because
you think so?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because fat's a bad word. Fat means fat. Fat equals I'll be fat if I eat fat. 2, fat is too good. And something that good, for you're telling me, put sweet cream on my Special K. And that's better than skim milk on my Special K. Sounds weird to me.
You got the answer. It is good. It is enjoyable. And it doesn't have the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is the bad guy. You have to see that. When you told people go on a low-fat diet, look how much more carbohydrate they began eating. And that's what caused the epidemic of obesity and of diabetes.
So you're saying is we have an epidemic of obesity caused by people pushing low-fat diets.
Exactly. 100% correct. May I shake your hand? That's perfect.
Where did I go right? I don't know what I'm saying. It just seems that the fact is, I've had people say it's a rule that if it tastes good, it's bad for you.
Oh, You got that wrong. If it tastes good, you can stay on it for life. Just pick a healthy food that tastes good. And that's what Atkins does.
What do people tell you is the hardest thing for them to give up?
Oh boy, everybody has their favorite. Well, maybe a lot of people say bread, a lot of people say pasta, a lot of people say sweets. It's a large story.
You telling me when you order spaghetti and meatballs, you just eat the meatballs?
I wouldn't order spaghetti and meatballs. I would just order the meatballs.
I mean, but that was a joke. See, it was
okay.
A little levity. Atkins, you know, I mean. Okay, we'll be back with our remaining moments with Dr. Robert Atkins. Get some more phone calls in right after these words.
Sunday.
From the moment I met you, I suddenly understood why it didn't work out with anyone else.
America's Brains, the John F. Kennedy Jr. story. Sunday at 8 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Only on TBS Superstation.
Tomorrow, join CNN Live as President Bush unveils his economic plan, plus reaction from the stock exchange in Capitol Hill. Lou Dobbs hosts tomorrow 1.
Do you want the best in high-powered sports action? Then AT&T Digital Cable has the game plan for you. With AT&T Digital Cable, not only can you receive all the major sports networks, you can also get complete coverage of your favorite sports with sports in demand, like NBA League Pass, NHL Center Ice, ESPN Game Plan, and more. The ball is in your court, so get in the game with this great sports package offer when you order AT&T Digital Cable. More value, more sports. AT&T Digital Cable.
Stanley's family is as playful as an ostrich. She must be doing at least 40. Bye! And more fun-loving than a pack of penguins.
Yahoo! You make a great penguin, Mommy. Bluebirds are pretty special birds.
And I can think of someone else who's pretty special, too.
Flock together with the Grips.
I have one strange family.
Stanley, every morning inside Playhouse Disney, only on Disney Channel.
Let's do it together. Yeah!
Our neighbor's truck was sitting on top of the house.
The power, the fury, the drama. It's Storm Stories, a new series only on the Weather Channel, weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
There's 3 lives that could be saved. We're definitely going to go.
Brace yourself. Weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Storm Stories, only on the Weather Channel.
Brought to you locally by U.S. Waterproofing. Call 1-888-SEEPAGE for more information or click on seepage.com.
Call the MatchLink Singles Network now to find your picture-perfect match.
I never thought I'd find a guy like Michael. Warm, funny, loves movies as much as I do, and the MatchLink Singles Network found him for me.
Introducing myself to Nina was easy. I just called the MatchLink Singles Network, described myself and who I wanted to meet. Then they matched us up in no time.
For your picture-perfect match, call the MatchLink Singles Network. The easy, fast, safe, and fun way to meet people you'll have a lot in common with.
Is CNN. This is CNN.
We're back with Dr. Atkins. One of our crew had an outstanding question. What about portions? Or can you eat all the steak you want?
Well, the portion should be just enough that you're not hungry, because we don't want anybody hungry, but we don't want anybody just eat beyond that. So it's just perfect, so that nobody will be hungry, so that for a lifetime now, you're never going to be hungry. And that's the superiority of our diet.
Cleveland, Ohio. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Atkins. First, I wanted to thank you. I've been on your diet for about 3 years now. I've lost over 150 pounds.
Very impressive.
Been able to keep it off, so that's very important to me. My wife, however, has a concern, and that is she's been reading a lot about the mad cow disease that's being held in beef. I'm curious if you had any comments about that.
Well, we haven't had any mad cow disease in the United States, so it's really nothing to worry about. It certainly doesn't affect anybody.
How many have died altogether? Did many die in Europe?
That I actually don't know, but it's pretty rare.
There was many. Pensacola, Florida. Hello.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Atkins,
yes.
First I want to tell you thank you for sticking to your guns. I've been on the program since February 4th, and I've lost 55 pounds.
Good year.
My question is whenever I try to find my critical carbohydrate level for losing,
right,
and I get to the you tell us about the 5 pound mark. Well, if I add an extra bowl of broccoli to my supper, then I'm getting that 5 pounds back. What's going on?
Well, you actually are a slower loser than you should be. So you're not on any medications, are you?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. Then, which I said to one of our first callers, you should really check your temperature to see if perhaps you don't have a sluggish thyroid, because that may be the answer.
Staten Island, New York. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Dr. Atkins, my husband's been on a diet for 6 months, and he lost 30 pounds.
Okay.
And he's been on medication from the beginning, blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication. His blood work is wonderful now.
Right.
But he's on a plateau now. He can't seem to lose for the last month.
What's the hypertensive medication that he's on?
Oh, I'm not really sure the name of it.
Well, basically, most of the hypertensive medications prevent weight loss or slow it down. And he probably has a perfectly normal blood pressure. Since you live at Staten Island, you should really come.
Go see him.
You should come and see me in Manhattan, at the Atkins Center, because we get people off of their medication all the time. That's what we do.
People fly in to see you, I know.
Oh
people
yeah,
flying in. You can contact the Atkins Center in New York.
All over the world, not just the U.S.
Living right there. That's what I do. Northbrook, Illinois. Hello.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm interested in the Atkins products and how you feel that they may inhibit or help the weight loss program.
What kind? You sell products?
Yeah, Atkins Nutritional sells products, and there's some very good products. We're not the only company that does it, but
where do you get them? In health food stores?
Health food stores carry them. You can log on to the website and call Atkins Nutritionals.
What kind of products like?
Well, we have all those chocolate things, and they're called Advantage bars, protein bars. We have, about 80 different products. I mean, the whole breakfast, a lot of, we have low-carb bread, we have chocolate drinks and other drinks that are delicious.
Wow.
And we will have ice cream in a few months.
Ship it out?
And it gets shipped out right away.
New York City, hello.
New York.
New York.
I have an event coming up in 2 weeks, and I'd like to lose a quick 10 pounds. What's the surest and fastest way to do that?
Well, the average weight loss of our induction is about 10 pounds in 2 weeks. So
you live in New York? Go to see him tomorrow.
No, tomorrow I'll be flying back to New York.
Go the next day. Make
No. Go on the diet because you've only got 2 weeks. It should take off 10 pounds in 2 weeks. That's about all you have to do.
How do you feel now? We got about a minute left. Do you feel like, well, yeah, I told you so?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. And I must say, I feel very happy having spent the hour with you. It really makes me feel good. And in general, I feel that I've got to do the next step of my life, which is to put an end to the epidemic proportions of diabesity. And that's the book after this one is
about diabesity.
Yeah.
Because the link of diabetes is, I guess, our foremost third killer, right?
And that definitely comes from carbohydrates. All you have to do, any diabetic, all they have to do is check their blood sugar after a regular meal and see how many points it goes up, and after one of our meals and see how few points it goes up, and you'll see right away that it's what you should do.
Always great seeing you, Bob.
Good. It's always great to be here.
Dr. Robert Atkins, cardiologist, founder of the Atkins Center for Complementary Medicine in New York City, author of Atkins for Life, the complete controlled carb program for permanent weight loss and good health. And you can website him at theatkinscenter.com. Be back in a minute to tell you about tomorrow night. Don't go away.
Introducing New America Online 8.0. With hundreds of new features, there's never been a better time to try it.
You've got mail.
With 8.0, I can customize my email.
AOL's new parental controls I can set up for each one of my children.
Now AOL searches are faster than ever with Google.
The customer service is free and it's 24 hours a day.
Call now and get 1,025 free hours for 45 days. There's no commitment and you don't even need a credit card.
America Online has so much more.
New AOL 8.0 with hundreds of new features. There's never been a better time to try it.
As the world faces the possibility of war, CNN is there.
Christiana Manpour, CNN, reporting from Kuwait.
In Ramallah on the West Bank. Damascus. With the largest team of journalists on the front lines.
700 sites need to be inspected.
From right here in the U.S.
At the State Department.
For CNN, the Pentagon, the White House. To the streets of the Middle East.
CNN, Riyadh.
Beirut, Cairo, Jerusalem. As the showdown with Iraq continues. Stay with CNN.
From TNT, a world premiere special event.
You couldn't get work, Money.
His trusted friend will become his deadly enemy.
If I was starving, I wouldn't wrestle. That's it.
From the director of Lonesome Dove.
Since when you've been doing Law's work, Monty?
Tom Selleck is Monty Walsh, the last cowboy. One epic western. 3 chances to watch. See it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday at 8, beginning January 17th on TNT. No drama.
CNN Tonight, the day's top stories, plus an entire family murdered. One parent accused of the crime. Now go inside the manhunt and incredible capture of the alleged killer with Connie Chung. CNN Tonight, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
Closed captioning for selected programs provided by Garleet.